I woke up to try and get some water to reduce the burns. But when I stepped on the floor, I felt a shock. She had connected electricity, the heater, and poured water on the floor. So the current was flowing. So when I stepped on that floor, I felt a shock, and I became even more confused.
Know your man, his weaknesses, his strengths. You know, from there you know how to communicate to him, because women don't communicate, they make noise.
They shout.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
This week on Wake Up and Makeup, we are talking about personal branding. My guests and I go on a journey to transform our physical, mental, and emotional well-being. You'll also get tips from the experts on how to be your best self.
First, what do you stand for? You have to understand what you stand for. And unfortunately, nobody can do for you that work.
What you can do to improve your health and why brain fog, fatigue, anxiety, depression, and lack of clarity of your vision as well.
Make sure you don't miss this life-transforming episode only on Wake Up and Makeup.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Mimi ndio mgangaidi. Nasema toka. Okay. Toka. Okay.
Mimi si nilikuwa nimesema mambo yenu ya siasa, meeting zenu za siasa mfanyie huko ofisini?
Ndio.
Hapa ni nyumbani kwangu. I need my own privacy. Unanisikia?
Wewe kipanga tena cha nini tena?
Hichi kipanga muhimu. Kipanga muhimu. Kipanga kinapiga mkwara paka polisi yani.
Nani amezusha?
On the next episode of Ashoka.
He has woken up. Hey, he has woken up.
I cannot explain the pain that I am going through after Ashok's death. But we should not forget that we have to save Takshashila from Kichak's atrocities. This was Ashok's dream as well.
I wonder when I will reach Takshashila and when I will fulfill my goal.
Yote ndawai do iko tu sawa kwa macho yako.
Unataka kuwako?
Ati nini?
Why are you people shouting?
Are you okay?
Mwanamke wewe ninakuona sana. Ni wanaume hapa Mombasa wameisha.
Ni nini mbaya?
Nowadays we have so many unfaithful people.
What?
We need to talk about her every time we are together.
I'd be very careful the way you address me.
Zako zinakuangaje? Huwezi kaa dakika mbili hata bila kuteta.
You will all sign new contracts.
And I am supposed to be briefed.
What? Taki ujinga.
Oof.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
As I lay there bleeding, potentially going to see Jesus, I called on him because I realized at 9 years old that I could.
Kenyan gospel sensation Evelyn Wanjiru joins us.
I come to you, my deliverer. I lay everything at your feet, oh Lord, for you
Atakuwa tumetoka hosi. Tulikuwa tumedecide tutoke hosi the following day. So one of my auntie alikuja akasema pana mtoto atolewange hospitali bila kuoshwa. So kwenda kumwosha tukapata akona kahole kwa spine. So we were like nini na happen, being the firstborn nikakuwa shocked.
And it's been a tremendous success. I mean, we adopted that. We work on a very, very modest area, small place that has up in the last 28 years.
'Cause we're differently abled.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Hii kwenye mkulima tutalima mchicha aina ya Grain Amaranth.
Hii mchicha iko tofauti na zile mchicha mengine ni kwa sababu huwa inazaa kichwa kikubwa. Hiyo kichwa imejaa mbegu ndogo ndogo, na hiyo mbegu iko na dhamana sana kwa mwili ya mwanadamu kwa sababu iko na rotuba nyingi sana.
Kisha tukuze tree tomatoes. Basi usikose kujiunga nasi kila Jumapili saa 9:30 hapa KBC Channel 1 kwa uondo kamili.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
I came to the house at around 5:30 in the morning. I was so tired, I just went to sleep. Few minutes later, she woke up and poured sulfuric acid on my face and ran away. So I woke up to try and get some water to reduce the burns. But when I stepped on the floor, I felt a shock. She had connected electricity, the heater, and poured water on the floor. So the current was flowing. So when I stepped on that floor, I felt a shock and I became even more confused.
Know your man, his weaknesses, his strengths. You know, from there you know how to communicate to him, because women don't communicate, they make noise.
They shout.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
This week on Wake Up and Make Up, we are talking about personal branding. My guests and I go on a journey to transform our physical, mental, and emotional well-being. You'll also get tips from the experts on how to be your best self.
First, what do you stand for? You have to understand what you stand for. And unfortunately, nobody can do for you that work.
What you can do to improve your health and why brain fog, fatigue, anxiety, depression, and lack of clarity of your vision as well.
Make sure you don't miss this life-transforming episode only on Wake Up and Make Up.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Mimi ndio mgangaidi. Nasema toka.
Okay.
Toka.
Mimi si nilikuwa nimesema mambo yenu ya siasa, meeting zenu za siasa mfanyie huko ofisini?
Ndio.
Hapa ni nyumbani kwangu. I need my own privacy. Unanisikia?
Mbona kipanga tena cha nini tena?
Hichi kipanga muhimu. Kipanga muhimu. Kipanga kinapiga mkwara paka polisi yani.
Nani amezusha?
Well, no, very good evening to you. Hope you're enjoying, well, second day of your weekend. And thank you for joining us for Channel 1 Weekend with me, Richard Munga. Our sign language is Byron Abuli, as we strive to bring you the latest in news, be it sports, be it politics. We have a lot on that, especially with the BBI conversation, of course, ongoing. Those opposing it, those who are supporting it. But we'll have much, much more on that in our bulletin. But first, let's have a look at the news highlights.
Adil Erade is the man as the Gor Mahia side put the ball in the net.
The Green Army fights his way to the second preliminary stage of the CAF Champions League. Meanwhile, calls for political ceasefire in the BBI debate take center stage during the burial of the late Matungu Member of Parliament Justice Murunga. And shocking statistics are 66 people dying from COVID-19, while 4,000 others are infected with the virus in less than 1 week in the country.
Now, let's get right to it in our top story this evening, whereby Kenya Premier League champions Gor Mahia are through to the second preliminary round of the CAF Champions League matches, following a 3-1 victory over APR of Rwanda in a return leg match that was played today at the Nyayo National Stadium. The two teams had played out to a 1-1 draw in regular time, with Kogalo netting 2 goals in extra time to seal the victory. The two sides clashed in the return leg of the competition, with Kogalo seeking to overturn a 2-1 defeat suffered in the first leg in Kigali, Rwanda. Samuel Onyango scored for the home team in the first half.
The man is the Gor Mahia side, put the ball in the net. And it seems like Samuel Onyango will be taking the celebration. What does the referee say?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, the celebration is on. The referee is attending to a player on the other side, but Samuel Onyango has led the Gor Mahia players in a celebration here.
Before 17-year-old substitute Ekedi Nsanzimfura equalized for the visitors in the 81st minute.
Here is a shot that goes into the net. The dangerous young man that I was talking about much earlier on is the one who actually pulls the trigger, as the rest were dilly-dallying out there. He's put the ball in the net.
With the Rwandese outfit leading the fixture by an aggregate of 3-2, it seemed like the end of the road for Gor. However, Sydney Ochieng and Nicholas Kipkurui struck late in extra time to win the tie for the Kenyan champions.
At the moment, because they only needed a draw of any kind. Here is Gor Mahia's chance. It is in the net. Oh, it's been put in by Sydney Wahongo. So we'll take the corner. A left-footed player on that side. It can only cover on the outside, and it does, and it's headed into the net. It's a second goal. It's by Nicholas Kipkurui, and it should be in the closing minutes of this game. And Gor Mahia emphatically now proving that they would be going forward.
I'm so happy, because the boys really pushed themselves, and then of course we had a strategy. One, it was very, very fortunate that we started scoring. That was very, very important for our confidence. Then we talked about it. What about if they start scoring? What is it going to mean? What is going to happen? But we had to be strong mentally, and you could see when they equalized that goal, I think they thought that they've won the game. But we took that opportunity because their focus was down. And then, of course, the subs that we did, very good subs from Kipkirui and then Mieso, and it really changed the game. It gave us that strength up front. And, that's a wonderful performance from the boys.
Gor Mahia has been in the competition in the last 4 seasons, but has struggled to advance further, and their last attempt in 2019 was halted by Algeria's USM Alger.
Meanwhile, calls for unity of purpose reverberated during the burial ceremony of the late Matungu Member of Parliament Justice Murunga. ODM leader Raila Odinga urging Kenyans to bridge tribal differences, which have continued to hinder meaningful development in the country. Odinga spoke even as Deputy President William Ruto reiterated the need for consensus building in the ongoing push for constitutional review.
Friends, family and colleagues of the late Matungu MP Justice Murunga gathered in Kakamega County to pay their final respects to the late legislator. Leaders present eulogizing the late MP as a selfless public servant.
Mheshimiwa Murunga alikuwa mtu ambaye hauwezi ukachezea. Mheshimiwa Murunga, ikiwa kuna mjadala na wewe uko hapo na labda neno lako haliingii vizuri, yani you're not making logic or you're not being logical, kaa chonjo, kwa sababu unaweza pokea kofi.
Murunga ameenda
lakini naona Murunga amewacha Murunga ingine na mambo itaendelea mbele.
ODM leader Raila Odinga used the occasion to call for unity of purpose in the country.
Huyo ni Onyango? Hapana. Na kadhalika mpaka uwe fulani bin fulani ndio unapata hiyo. Hiyo ndio Kenya ambayo tunataka kuzika kwenye kaburi la sahau, ili tuunganishe makabila wetu wote wa Kenya wawe kama kitu kimoja.
Leaders present would however differ on the implementation matrix of the contentious Building Bridges initiative. Deputy President William Ruto has maintained that the proposed referendum should coincide with the 2022 general election and that Kenyans should be presented with an array of questions on what sections of the law should be reviewed.
Ni afadhali tuwe na msimamo, na msimamo wetu ni kwamba tunaunga BBI mkono. So I want to challenge rafiki yangu Hasla pia leo, make a decision. Utuambie kama unaunga ama unapinga.
Hawa wananchi wako na akili. Nimewaambia wajinga wamekwisha Kenya. Hakuna wajinga tena. Wako na akili. Wanaweza kuamua. Sisi tuwaletee maswali. Kwa judiciary tunataka hii. Mnakubali ama hamkubali?
The late Matungu Member of Parliament passed away on 15th of November after a short illness. For Channel 1 News, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Thank you very much, Gladys Mungai, for that report. And accusations and counter-accusations continue to dominate discussions on the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020, as politicians vouching for amendments accusing their opponents of plotting to derail the process. This comes as a section of legislators from Ukambani region question the criteria used in allocation of the proposed additional 70 constituencies, citing the region has been left out. Safin Achieng Ouma with details of the political shadow boxing as the weekend kicked off.
Haya, tuwapigie makofi.
Just a day after the Building Bridges Initiative Secretariat revealed it had collected over 5 million signatures to facilitate the constitutional amendments, debate on the pros and cons of the Constitution Amendment Bill continue. BBI Secretariat Co-Chair Junet Mohammed, who was in Mandera County, laid a plot to derail the process by those pushing for further amendments to the document.
Kama wewe unaona hii mabadiliko ya saa hii haijabeba vitu ambaye wewe ulikuwa unatarajia ibebe, wewe pia sanya sahihi 1,000,000 yako, peleka kwa kaunti 24, ipitishwe, upeleke referendum kwa wananchi. Huwezi kutoa masharti dakika ya mwisho. Hii train ya BBI imeanza safari. Na train sasa imeenda mbele, hawezi kurudi nyuma kwa sababu haina reverse.
He spoke even as leaders from Mandera County unanimously agreed to support the Building Bridges Initiative report led by Mandera Governor Ali Roba. The leaders said the report captured the interest of the 15 ASAL counties.
Tumeweza kufaulu kwa mambo mengi, mengine machache hatu kufaulu, but naturally huwezi kuuliza vitu yote upate. Lazima moja ama mbili utakosa. Ndio sababu tumesema sasa hivi lazima hii document tuiunge mkono.
One of it is the issue of pastoralism, which is the backbone of the people of northern Kenya and all pastoralists at large. This has been addressed in the constitution. The issue of fair representation has also been addressed. Therefore, as people of Mandera, we have no issue whatsoever, but we are saying we are ready as the people of Mandera to support.
Sasa mimi nimekuja hapa kuambia watu wa Mandera ya kwamba lazima kama mmoja yenu mtu ambaye pia ana uhusiano na hawa kutoka hapa, lazima tukue pamoja, tutembee pamoja kwa hii safari ili tufanikishe mambo ya BBI ambayo italeta manufaa kubwa sana katika nchi yetu.
In Kitui, a section of residents vowed to oppose the Building Bridges Initiative report, claiming that their interests were not captured. They are decrying being left out in the distribution of the 70 proposed new constituencies.
Surely, if the scientific method was being used to distribute counties to the deserving and constituencies to the deserving counties, why was Kitui left out? Again, we are saying this issue was not addressed. And again, because of that, we are saying no constituency for additional constituency. We are demanding for 2. No constituencies addition, we are saying no to the referendum we are telling our people.
Wakati hii BBI imetoka na tukaisoma, tumekuta hakuna Mwingi County. Na wakati tumekuta hakuna Mwingi County, tukaenda tukaona watu wote wa Kitui County na wakatuambia on behalf of them tujitokeze ili tuongee juu ya Mwingi County.
For Channel 1 News, I'm Safin Aching Oma.
Now, moving on to some quite unfortunate news. 66 people have died as a result of COVID-19 and more than 4,668 others infected by the virus in a span of 6 days. The latest figures by the Ministry of Health shows a drop in the positivity rate to a single digit of 9.5%, though the number of those tested was high at 7,671, of which 735 tested positive for the virus. Nancy Okware with details as the festive season beckons.
Kenya on Saturday recorded a positivity rate of 9.58% after 735 more cases were recorded from a sample size of 7,671. This now placing the total number of confirmed cases at 87,984. In the past 6 days alone, a total of 4,668 coronavirus cases have been confirmed, with 66 people losing their lives. So far, 68,532 patients have recovered from the virus after 422 were discharged, with 369 being from home-based care program and 53 from various health facilities. The number of fatalities rose to 1,518 after 12 more patients succumbed to the disease. At the moment, 1,189 patients are admitted in hospital and 8,146 are under home-based care program. Out of those in hospital, 76 are in the intensive care unit and 5 in the high dependency unit. Nairobi continues to lead in the number of new infections. Nancy Okware, Channel 1 News.
Well, now we're going to take a short commercial break, but don't go too far because we're going to be back with more. And you can always log on to our website for more news. That is www.kbc.co.ke. See you shortly.
Ni mimi. Ulitoa pikipiki? Mlitani sitaomoka. Ni yako. Hii nduti ni yangu. Niliwahi pale Quickbit. Quickbit? Quickbit imekuja kusaidia wananchi kama sisi. Nilinunua 399 shillings. Juu nilikuwa the lowest unique bidder. 399 shillings. Quickbit shilingi moja unaweza nunua pizza. Shilingi mbili unaweza nunua microwave. Shilingi tano unaweza nunua hata gari. So tupeleke huko hata mtu aende huko.
Jiunga na Quickbit ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bidi yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bidi yako pia kwenye www.quickbit.co.ke. Kumbuka, bidi ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. Quickbit, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
All you can do, what no man can do. Only you can say.
Winners Chapel International Nairobi invites you to join us at Shiloh 2020. Theme: Turnaround Encounters. Come full of expectation. 8th to 11th December 2020 as we broadcast live from Faith Tabernacle, Ota, Lagos, Nigeria, with the Bishop Dr. David Oyedepo, live on KBC Channel 1 and Radio Taifa from 10 p.m. to midnight. Next on.
Have you talked to my uncle?
I have. I've just been with him and he's very upset with you.
He has no reason to be. Don't you think he's being too dramatic? If I want things to be transparent, then what's the problem?
It's just that your uncle is not used to anybody checking on him, much less when he's giving you all his support without asking for anything.
Deposits, 1 million. You're absolutely right, sir. Thank you very much.
You don't have to thank me. I shall pay the whole amount as I promised.
All right.
No, it's not true. Porfirio is my best friend. What am I going to do without him?
El paraíso
In love with Ramon.
Welcome back to Channel One Weekend. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has challenged the charge to work with government to ensure synergy in delivery of services to Kenyans. The president, who was attending the consecration service of Reverend Callisto Dede, said it is prudent for leaders, irrespective of their affiliation, to unite for the sake of serving humanity.
Reverend Callisto Odede succeeds Bishop David Oginde as the presiding bishop of Christ is the Answer Ministries in Karen, Nairobi.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
It is at his consecration ceremony that President Uhuru Kenyatta urged the clergy to work closely with government to deliver services to Kenyans.
You can always count on my support, on my government's support, as we move together, state and church, to do God's will. Both of us are here serving, and we need each other, and we need to work together.
The head of state calling for synergy in various programs to ensure the common objective of serving humanity is achieved. At the same time, he urged the incoming presiding Bishop Callisto Odede to lead with courage and develop his own style of leadership.
But I don't believe in that, because I believe, as that famous poem says, do not compare yourself with others, because by so doing all you become is vain and full of despair. There is no need to compare yourself with others. God has given you your shoes, and He has made you for a time just as is this.
Bishop Odede, in his acceptance speech, assured the president of his support and prayers, saying despite the current global health challenges, God will still revive the nation and all sectors of the economy. Bishop Oginde retires after 10 years of service as the presiding bishop. For Channel 1 News, I'm Sarafina Robi.
Also, parents with children suffering from cerebral palsy have been challenged to speak up and seek medical intervention earlier on to ensure their children access proper care. This was the clarion call at the launch of a campaign to create awareness and reduce stigma associated with the disease.
50 seconds to go. They know.
10 million skips for children living with cerebral palsy campaign has been launched to create awareness and build the capacity of parents raising children with cerebral palsy. A non-government organization spearheading the initiative say the campaign is aimed at giving accurate information on the condition and emphasizing on the need for early intervention.
When a mom has information about how to take care of their child will be able to grow to their fullest potential and even go to school and have a career. So our celebration today is we want to celebrate the children. We want the children who have cerebral palsy to be able to access therapy, because therapy is very, very expensive, making it out of reach for most families.
A representative of the NGO, Juliet Mohia, cited among the challenges was the lack of infrastructure to care for children with the condition.
From therapy being expensive, it is also not accessible. Not many centers offer therapy to children with cerebral palsy. There's also the fact that when you go to, because of not having enough centers, when you go to therapy, you're given like a day each and every week. So a day is not enough for a child to be able to acquire her milestones. If we say 1 day in a week, that is 4 days in a month. But ideally, a child with cerebral palsy is supposed to have a minimum of 3 sessions in a week, so that they are able to achieve their milestones.
Dennis Mureithi, a physical therapist, is encouraging parents of children with cerebral palsy to seek early intervention, saying it has a 90% success rate.
Early. Most of the parents, actually, there's this stigma whereby some parents will hide the kids because of the social presentation, but mostly when kids come to us early, they get to live their normal life because therapy will help in re-educating the muscles, re-educating the nerves, and teaching the kids how to hold themselves up again.
Cerebral palsy is a group of disorders that affect movement and muscle tone or posture. It can occur before, during, and sometimes after birth. Caroline Kamau reporting for Channel 1.
Meanwhile, Kilifi County government has dispatched 5 teams to all 35 wards to survey and identify the type of locusts that have invaded the region. Agriculture and Livestock Chief Officer Richard Munga says the report will be discussed by the Kilifi County Security Committee to ascertain the extent of the invasion as well as develop a mitigation plan.
These are the scenes in over 10 wards in Kilifi County. Residents of Magarini, Malindi, Ganze, Kaloleni and Kilifi South yet to come to terms with the devastation by the locusts. At the Raweni village in Magarini, Christian Jomwa says the locust invaded her farm.
Kesha shambani kwangu. Hata hivyo wanaendelea. Jana walikuwa kule msituni juu ya miti. Asubuhi napokuja shambani na kwa wameingia shambani kwangu. Wananiharibia mahindi yangu. Wasiwasi wangu ni kama chakula changu kitamalizika.
This has been replicated across as fear has gripped residents after deadly desert locusts invaded their farms amid the coronavirus pandemic.
Tumeweza kuona maajabu ya panzi aina ya nzige, wameweza kuvamia, wamekuja. Tunaweza kuona wakifika shambani na wakaanza tayari kukula mimea. Kufikia sasa tunaendelea bado kuwaona wakija na hatujui tutafanya nini, maana bado wanaendelea kuja. Tunatujui hata tufanye nini sisi huku. Melon, mahindi, minanasi, miembe na miogo wanakula pia majani yake.
Ndio bado tunatatiza kutoka asubuhi, tunajaribu kufukuza na kuwaua, lakini tena bado wako hapa. Na hawa wanyama ni wanyama ambao kufikia saa hii bado hajalete madhara sana, kwa sababu ukiangalia wenyewe ni hafifu na hata kula hawajaanza kula sana, lakini ukienda kuwapata pahali ambapo wamekaa kwa siku moja huwa wameharibu sana.
Only Kilifi North and Rugby are yet to report the invasion of locusts. Kilifi County government has dispatched 5 teams to all 35 wards to survey the situation. Agriculture and Livestock Chief Officer Richard Munga says the highly migratory locust came from Yemen, adding that the invasion began on December 2nd.
Seem to have entered through the other part, the northern part, the corridor part, whereby we have the Lamu County and also the Tana River County. We realize that historically these migrated all far from Yemen, and then they entered some parts of Ethiopia and also Somalia and parts of Eritrea.
Kaingo said they were compiling a report that will be tabled at the Kilifi County Security Committee to ascertain the extent of invasion and have an action plan.
The only way we can be able to clear this is also maybe by using aerial spray, whereby we have 2 methods that we can be able to use. We can be able to use chemical compounds or the standard biopesticides.
Farmers are now raising concern that the locust pose a huge food security threat if urgent action is not taken.
Anyasi, lakini ninahofia wakimaliza hizi nyasi, mahindi yangu wataingilia mahindi yangu na watanitia shidani, hata chakula sitapata.
Bila kuangaliwa maarifa haraka, basi wanyama wanaweza athiri na ikawa na njaa kubwa sana hapa katika gatuzi la Kilifi.
Sisi tunaomba msaada wa madawa tuweze kusaidika, wanyama waondoke. Bila hivyo ni janga linakuja. Corona ndio hiyo, nzige nao ndio hao, sisi tutafanya nini?
Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Jackie Wamberu.
Also, a family seeking financial assistance to settle medical bail amounting to 400,000 shillings for their newborn child to be discharged from hospital. Baby Stacy Pendo Akinyi was born prematurely at just 7 months. Sadly, her mother would pass away 2 days after she was born. The doctors struggled to keep her alive in an incubator for 2 months as the bill accumulated to 1 million shillings. Her family and friends have managed to only raise 600,000 shillings of the bill and are now appealing to well wishers to assist them in settling the balance for Pendo to go home.
Meet a baby Pendo. The picture tells nothing of the heartbreaking story that defines her life. Hers is a tragic story of a mother who will sacrifice her life to save her unborn child. At 7 months, doctors would advise for a cesarean section to save both the baby and the mother.
Daktari akasema hawezi kaa na hiyo mimba siku moja, wataenda wote. So option ilikuwa afanyiwe CS, which ilikuwa successful.
What they did not anticipate was that the mother will die 2 days after she gave life to baby Pendo. Baby Pendo would never get to meet her biological mother. Her father, Dexter Luvari, has been forced to play the role of both mother and father as she struggled for her life in an incubator. After more than 2 months in a hospital, doctors say Pendo is ready to go home. However, the family cannot raise the entire amount of the hospital bill for her to be discharged. The bill stood at 1 million shillings, but the father of 4 managed to raise 600,000 from friends and family and is now calling on all wishers to assist him settle the balance of 400,000 shillings.
Tunakuja mbele yenu kuomba msaada ya kuraise hiyo bill nitoe mtoto wangu huko. Juu akiendelea kukaa huko inaendelea kupanda na vile inaendelea kupanda ndio vile inaendelea kukua ngumu.
To assist the family get baby Pendo home, you can send your contributions to M-Pesa number 0702434159, name Dexter Luvari, or M-Pesa paybill number 400222, account number 656433#. Yusufar, Channel 1 News.
Well, quite unfortunate, and once again, those willing to assist, you can kindly reach the father Dexter Luvari via 0702 434 159. Well, now, moving on to other matters, the construction of Dongo Kundu bypass in Mombasa is 30% complete despite the disruption occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic. The 8.96 kilometers dual carriageway project that will connect Mombasa and Kwale counties is expected to end the perennial congestion at Likoni Ferry. The 45 billion shilling project is projected to be completed in 4 years.
The construction of the bypass is anticipated to ease congestion for over 300,000 commuters who use the Likoni ferry daily from Mombasa to Kwale counties. With the completion of the Likoni footbridge mid this month, the ferry management hopes to offload pedestrian traffic to the nearby Liwatoni terminus, thus easing the day-to-day tension. The 45 billion shillings project will see the construction of an interchange at the Likoni-Lungalunga Highway, a dual causeway with 2 bridges that will connect the Mombasa-Nairobi Highway at Miritini. The project involves a 6.8-kilometer road from Ngomeni to the 1,140 meters Mteza Bridge. Over 300,000 locals of Mombasa and Kwale are set to reap the project following the eventual construction of a 3,000-acre special economic zone.
Hao 300,000 watakuwa wanapena msaada kwa watu wengine. Kwa hivyo pia tunakisia kwamba mtu mmoja anapopeana msaada kwa watu zaidi ya 6 kuelekea 10, inamaanisha kwamba wale ambao watakuwa nafaidika pale itakuwa ni zaidi ya milioni 1.8 hadi milioni 3.
According to the contractors, the raging pandemic had stalled the project, but they are back on track.
We will try to catch out the delay of the coronavirus due to the coronavirus, and at the same time we will try to cut short the time failure from 48 months to less than 48 months. So hopefully we can achieve our target that this project can be finished less than the 48 months time.
Mbio ya serikali ni kwamba hakuna Mkenya ambaye ataachwa nyuma kwa maendeleo. Kwa hivyo miradi hii yote ni kuhakikisha kwamba kila Mkenya anatembea ana kwa ana na wengine wote. Na njia ya kufanya hivyo ni kuleta maendeleo karibu na watu. Na ndio sababu tunaangazia maendeleo hizi ama miradi hizi na mengine sehemu nyingine.
Watu wengine wanaposema kwamba pwani imeachwa nyuma, waweze kuonyesha kwamba pwani inaenda pamoja na labda hata iko mbele ya sehemu zingine za nchi.
Juni Karisa Mbele from Mombasa County.
Now, the government has discouraged Kenyans against wastage of water as it moves to complete all ongoing water projects in the country in the next 6 months. Speaking in Jomvu, Mombasa County, Water Cabinet Secretary Cecily Kariuki said the government remains committed to addressing the challenge of water scarcity. Also, over 500 people from Ndaragwa Central Ward in Nyandarua North Sub-County have benefited from food donations courtesy of the area MCA and Meek Foundation. This and more in our county news roundup.
After months of water scarcity in Jomvu Sub-County in Mombasa County, residents can now breathe easy as government moves to expedite the completion of a 400 million shilling water project in the area. Water Cabinet Secretary Cecily Kariuki urging Kenyans to ensure proper utilization of the scarce resource.
Niwasihi maji inapofika vile tuweza kutumia kwa ile njia inafaa. Water is a scarce resource across the world.
Miezi kadhaa inayokuja tutaanza kuona tatizo hili limekuwa la zamani, kwa sababu hii project ambayo inafanywa na contractor anaitwa Danaf imefikia almost 90% complete.
In West Pokot County, Area Senator Samuel Pogisio has raised concern over the poor state of Kapenguria Hospital and other health centers in the county. Pogisio decried lack of essential drugs, dilapidated equipment and poor service delivery due to lack of vital facilities like ambulances.
This is the highest level of referral in this country. And if you look, even if you just film the gullies here, and the walkways here, you can tell that we have a big situation, a health hazard within our own hospital. But I want to say only one thing about this. I want to ask Governor Gonyangafo that you can leave everything else and just come and focus on this referral hospital so that people can live.
Meanwhile, over 500 people in Ndaragwa Central Ward in Nyandarua County have benefited from food donations courtesy of their area MCA and Meek Foundation. Majority of the beneficiaries are elderly, people living with disabilities, and widows drawn from Nyonjoro, Morisho, and Magotu villages.
Hii area hakunyeshagi sana, na ndio maana tukatarget wale watu wako na ulemavu, wale watu wazee wamepitisha miaka 70, wale watu wengine wako chini sana, ndio at least tushikane na wao katika wakati huu wa anga ya COVID-19.
Elsewhere, national and county governments have been urged to utilize data and information provided for by the National Council for Population and Development to plan and implement their programs and projects. Speaking in Garissa, NCPD Director General Mohammed Sheikh said governors' failure to use the data has resulted to utilization of public funds in projects that are not a priority to the people. Finally, lobby groups in Kisii County are calling on the government to invest more in the creation of safe spaces for victims of gender-based violence. The group says there is also the need for psychosocial, medical and legal support for victims of gender-based violence. Kevin Washira, Channel 1 News.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more, like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, Oh, we'll take nothing for granted. And always remember to taste the simple joys. Enjoy the magic of Christmas with Coca-Cola.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Mimi ndio mgangaidi. Nasema toka. Toka.
Mimi si nilikuwa nimesema mambo yenu ya siasa, meeting zenu za siasa mfanyie huko ofisini? Ndio. Hapa ni nyumbani kwangu. I need my own privacy. Unanisikia?
Mbona kipanga tena cha nini tena?
Hichi kipanga muhimu. Kipanga muhimu. Kipanga kinapiga mkwara paka polisi yani.
Nani amezusha?
Coming soon on Y254 channel.
Karibu home Buddha. Huku ni kwa mother. The first time I saw you, I asked myself, is your father a terrorist? Auola nshata. Reality ni tunarudi ocha leo. Niliwakosea nini? Uze maziwa yangu ndoche.
Maziwa ni ya ng'ombe. Inaonekana hii mtaa tuko na kamajisheni fulani. Bebe, kwani unaenda wapi?
Naenda kumasaji farasi, alafu nikimaliza ni chanwe nywele.
Nitakuwe. Utadu? Nitakuombea.
This program is brought to you by the Kenya Film Commission and KBC.
Now, welcome back, and let's look at the news making headlines internationally, whereby U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered the withdrawal of nearly all U.S. troops from Somalia by 15th January 2021 as part of his continued plan to reduce military interventions by the U.S. The U.S. has about 700 troops in Somalia, helping local forces battle al-Shabaab and Islamic State militants. U.S. officials said some of the troops would move to neighboring countries, allowing for cross-border operations.
In recent months, President Trump has issued similar orders to reduce U.S. forces in Iraq and Afghanistan. Trump has been critical of U.S. military interventions, terming them as costly and ineffective. The withdrawal, which would see troops redeployed just days before Trump leaves office, reverses the policy of former U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper, who was sacked last month as he maintained the U.S. presence in Somalia was critical. A Pentagon statement said that the order to reposition the majority of personnel and assets out of Somalia by early 2021 did not signify a change in U.S. policy. Meanwhile, Russia is starting its COVID-19 vaccination program, with clinics in the capital Moscow inoculating those most at risk from the virus. Its own vaccine, Sputnik V, which was registered in August, is being used. Developers say it is 95% effective and causes no major side effects, but it is still undergoing mass testing. Thousands of people have already registered to get the first of 2 jabs over the weekend, but it is unclear how much Russia can manufacture. Producers are only expected to make 2 million doses of the vaccine by the end of the year. And UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen will issue an address later as they try to break the post-Brexit trade deal stalemate. The leaders were called in after negotiations, for the two sides said significant divergences remain following a week of intensive talks. Sticky points include fishing rights, rules on state subsidies for business and arrangements for policy any deal. The UK left the EU on 31st of January but remains under EU trading rules until a transition period ends on 31st December. Finally, former President of Ivory Coast Laurent Gbagbo has been issued with an Ivorian passport enabling him to return home from exile. He has been living in Belgium since he was acquitted last year of war crime charges at the International Criminal Court. Bagbo, who was given regular and diplomatic passports, says he will return to Ivory Coast this month. It is not clear what he will do once he gets home, but he has been a vocal critic of President Alassane Ouattara, who was recently elected for a controversial third term, sparking political violence. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
In Marta Sports now, Athletics Kenya Integrity and Anti-Doping Seminar culminated in Kericho County with over 30 athletes drawn from Kericho, Nakuru and Kisii taking part in the 4-day seminar. The upcoming athletes were sensitized on the need to run and win clean.
Upcoming athletes drawn from Kisii, Nakuru and Kericho counties converge in Kericho County to take part in the 4-day Athletics Kenya Integrity and Anti-Doping Seminar. The seminar targeted junior athletes who are preparing for the World Under-20 Championships slated for August 2021.
In holding a virtual seminar to train our Under-20 purposely in preparation for the World Under-20 that will take place in Kenya next year in July. And molding them and training them on the effects of drugs and maybe doping issues, and also on character development. Athletics Kenya President Jack Tuwei urged the athletes to maintain discipline in the sport. The Athletics Integrity Unit also spoke to the juniors with the head of education, Aditya Kumar, urging the athletes to adhere to whereabouts rules, which has recently dominated in the latest sanctions. The seminar will head to Eldoret on Thursday next week, with athletes from Central and North Rift regions set to benefit from the training. Karanja David for Channel 1 Sport.
Meanwhile, World Half Marathon record holder Perez Jepchirchir and Lawrence Chirono will lead Kenya's podium chase at the Valencia Marathon. However, the duo will face stiff opposition from Ethiopian runners led by Birhanu Legesse and Tokyo Marathon champion Birhane Dibaba.
The men's marathon offers the deepest field ever assembled, with 24 runners bringing sub 2 hours 07 minutes credentials to the start. The field is topped by Birhanu Legesse, whose 2 hours 02 minutes and 48 seconds from Berlin last year ranks him the third fastest marathon of all time. The 26-year-old's 2 hours 04 minutes and 15 seconds victory in Tokyo is the fastest in the world this year. One of his toughest opponents might be compatriot Jamel Yema, who will be making his debut on defending champion Kinde Ateneo. Kenya's Lawrence Chirono will lead Kenya's charge to avoid an Ethiopian podium sweep. Others in the lineup include 2019 Abu Dhabi champion Ruben Kiprop, Turkey's European record holder Kan Kigen Ozbilen, Ethiopia's Hayele Lemi, Ebebe Negeo, Evans Chebet, Philemon Rono, and Abel Kirui. The women's contest also includes a formidable lineup, which includes 5 athletes who have dipped under 2 hours and 20 minutes. Kenya's Perez Jepchirchir, fresh from an emphatic 1 hour 05 minutes and 16 seconds women-only race world record at the World Half Marathon Championships, her second fastest run ever, appears to be one of the athletes to beat. The classic Kenyan contingent also includes the former World Half Marathon record holder Joycelyn Jepkosgei, Joan Chelimo, and Fancy Chemutai. However, the Kenyans will face stiff opposition from the Ethiopian contingent led by Ruti Aga, Birhane Dibaba, Zaineba Yema, and Degitu Azimero.
Now, the Kenya Amateur Weightlifting Association has received weights, bars and chalk donated by the International Weightlifting Federation, IWF. Kenya Amateur Weightlifting Association President Pius Ocheng says they received weights totaling to 600 kgs, with the total equipment valued being at 800,000 shillings. Ocheng said the equipment will be used by the association to prepare for Olympic qualifiers and the Africa Junior and Youth Championships. The National Olympic Committee of Kenya is on its part insists that equipment and basic infrastructure development is one of the main missions. Some Kenyan athletes are usually disadvantaged from training in substandard facilities and equipment compared to their competitors, as reported after the African Games back in 2018. And elsewhere, World Football Governing Body FIFA has introduced new rules that guarantee maternity leave and working rights for players in the women's game. The rules were proposed last month and were given approval by the FIFA Council on Friday. Pregnant players will now be given maternity leave lasting 14 weeks and must be paid at least 2/3 of their salary by their clubs. Clubs will be obliged to reintegrate the player when they return and to provide adequate medical support, although they can register a new player to cover the 14-week period. In addition, clubs will be unable to terminate the contract of a player on the basis of their pregnancy. Failure to adhere to this rule will result in an order to pay compensation to the player, as well as sporting sanctions and potentially a fine being issued to the offending club. And to other matters, Bristol Bears made it 2 wins in a row in Premiership Rugby as Sam Bedlow's late penalty goal sealed the victory at a rain-soaked Ashton Gate. The win takes the Bears second on the standings on 10 points, while Northampton, winless in 3 consecutive matches, are 11th on 2 points. The Bears take on Clermont-Avogné in a Champions Cup Group B match next weekend, while Northampton will be away to Leinster in a Group A match. David Ribbons and Piers Francis scored early tries for Northampton, with James Grayson converting both and adding a second-half penalty.
Punched some holes and Ribbons done exactly that. My goodness, he's driving through Ribbons, ball in one hand, ball over the try line. That's the kind of punch Saints were hoping for.
But if you're stopping someone in midfield, you're probably taking away valuable metres on the outside.
Grayson bouncing ball over the top. It's a dangerous bouncing ball, so dangerous that Saints have scored from it. Piers Francis. Oh.
Henry Pardee and Pius O'Connor went over for Bristol.
Going low. Peartow away quickly to Eden, and now Purdy running forward and doing what he can do in attack. He redeems himself. Bristol redeem themselves. They're on the board for the first time. And the Uren looking for a little bit of forward momentum from the pack. And they win the penalty.
Facing the top.
And Tip Eden towards Bristol. 3 points closer. The Bears 8, Saints 14.
Replacement fly half Sam Bedlow converted one, and he, along with Steve Eden, slaughtered over penalties.
And a really big moment this for Lewis Ludlam in Northampton. By looking at the scoreboard, just how significant these 3 points might be. And just like his dad when it comes to the big moments kicking-wise, James Grayson rarely lets you down. He draws the penalty in the end, and there might be more. This is O'Connor flying through. Oh my goodness. Across the damp turf.
Beldo would then kick the winning points from 45 metres out to grab the win for Bristol in the final play of the game and continue Northampton's winless start to the new Premiership season.
O'Connor breaking through, and he's creating some mayhem here. And here goes Purdy. And the Saints are clinging on for their lives now. Thomas, that's gone forwards. There'll be a Bristol scrum.
Northampton. It's a deliberate knock-on. It's a penalty. Here we are. Just make sure the mark is correct.
There it goes. Oh, he's caught it like a peach. I've no idea how Bristol have won that match.
Fortunately, we didn't capitalise on all the opportunities we had. We didn't score, and then we gifted them 2 tries. So we made it hard for ourselves, and then the rain kicked in. So we had to adjust our game, and we had to be patient, work our way through it. And it wasn't pretty, but we just had to get little bits of our game right, to get more control, and just trust that we could come back. And fair play, the boys came back and got the job done. So, we just have to take the win, but we certainly will make sure we improve from that.
It does feel like we sort of dodged a bullet in there, and there's a lot of relief in the changing room now. We knew Saints were going to come pretty desperate after a couple of losses, and they were gritty, they were sticky, and at times it felt like we were doing our best to throw it away. But like we always talk about, sticking to our systems, sticking to our processes, and finding solutions. And in the end, we did that, and I managed to fall the right side of it. And sometimes those results you just got to enjoy.
And now to international football, whereby Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored his 11th goal of this season's English Premier League as the Merseyside outfit, Everton, drew 1-1 at Burnley in the first Premier League draw between the two sides. Elsewhere, goals from Raheem Sterling and Kevin De Bruyne gave Manchester City a comfortable 2-0 win over Fulham at the Etihad Stadium. Let's have a look at the highlights.
In for City this season, they have won. Needs must.
Yeah, I think Harrison Reed obviously.
Robinson poking it forward. Stones dived in. Opportunity for Caballero and Fulham. And here's Riyad Mahrez, last week's hat-trick hero for Manchester City, slipping in. There's a handball in there by Ongisa. Good advantage from the referee, and Raheem Sterling doesn't pass up this opportunity. Second side of goal in the opening 5 minutes. He puts this one away, and it could be a long afternoon for Fulham. Good advantage, excellent ball through for Sterling, keeping his feet, trying to work the angle, brought down for a penalty.
Anderson.
The only time that he scored so far this season. Crisply done.
Well, now that's it for Channel One Weekend. But just to remind you, at 11 p.m. we have Chelsea. They're out to continue their fine form when they take on, or rather when they host Leeds United at Stamford Bridge. And in an ongoing match, West Ham versus Manchester United, the scores are at 2-1 actually. And well, in our subsequent bulletins, we shall be updating you on more issues, not only sports but also politics and even, human interest stories. Remember to log on to our website www.kbc.co.ke for more news. Well, that's where we put a cap on it, but we leave you with the weather forecast with Yusuf Farah.
Nyeri, Eldoret and Kericho are tying tonight at 11 degrees Celsius, making the three areas the coldest in the country tonight. Dry weather conditions dominate several parts of the country, with rainfall expected in a few areas of the southern parts of the country. Good evening, my name is Yusuf Farah. Time now for your Channel 1 with the updates. Let's take a look at how your Sunday morning looks like. And Kitale, Nakuru and Eldoret wake up to rains accompanied by sunny intervals. Areas of the coastal region will wake up to showers accompanied by sunny intervals, and areas of Garissa will have a chance of rain in the morning accompanied by sunny intervals. Looking at Mandera all the way to Lodwar, there will be sunny intervals in the morning. Now let's take a look at the afternoon, where Kitale and Kisumu will be having rains accompanied by thunderstorms, so best keep warm in those regions. The coastal region continues to be having showers accompanied by sunny intervals, and the same will be experienced in Makindu, Voi and Kitui. In the northeastern region, sunny intervals in the Lake Turkana Basin, sunny intervals, and the same experienced in areas bordering Kenya and southern Sudan. Taking a look at the temperatures now, and Lodwar highs of 36 and lows of 24, Marsabit highs of 25, lows of 17, and the capital city highs of 25 and lows of 14. On that note, I wrap up your local weather forecast. I leave you with the international weather forecast. Remember, stay safe, wash your hands, and take care of yourselves and each other. Good night.